Thor Ragnarok is a 2017 Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and I'm finally getting to review this, even though it is probably a bit late for a review to come out now, since the film's been out in the US for about an entire weekend, as well as being out in Europe for a week longer. But I had a lot of stuff to do with my day job, so I wasn't able to do any reviews, let alone do anything on movie news or even just random editorials. But now I have finally seen Thor Ragnarok, and I'm ready to talk about it. In this third Thor film, the Nordic goddess of death, Hela, returns to Asgard to claim it and basically appoint herself as queen, as well as potentially destroying it, kicking off the event known as Ragnarok, which is the end of days for Asgard. And while our favorite god of thunder, Thor, initially tries to stop her, he is sent to the planet Sakaar. While he's there, and while he's trying to create a plan to go back to Asgard to stop Hela, he is basically made a slave and entered into a gladiatorial match against none other than fellow Avenger Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, who has been missing for approximately 2 years. He's been missing ever since the events of Avengers Age of Ultron. I can't really get into the characters of the performances by their respective actors one by one, because I would just keep saying that this person is wonderful, amazing, this person is the best character in the entire film, and I can't really do that because I don't want to repeat, and because there's no particular highlight when it comes to the characters of the performers. Everybody gets their certain amount of time to shine. Everybody steals the movie in their own little scenes. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner and the Hulk. This time he actually does do the motion capture of the Hulk, and he actually voices him too, because in past years, the Hulk has always been voiced by Lou Ferrigno, who originally played the Hulk for the TV series. And of course you have Cate Blanchett, who plays Hela, and actually Cate Blanchett is, in my opinion, the second greatest actress of all time after Meryl Streep. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and hell, even the director of the film, Taika Waititi, has a character. He plays a CGI character named Korg. Everybody that I listed just now is fucking amazing. As far as the character Thor in general, as well as his placement in the MCU, I really enjoyed the first Thor film. I love the Shakespearean feel about it, and I absolutely love the direction given by Kenneth Branagh. And though I do see why it's considered one of the weaker of the MCU films, and as for the sequel, I fucking hate The Dark World. It is just so boring, but it does give us a bit of a leeway into the Infinity Stones, so I see its placement, but other than that, I really didn't see any point in the movie. And I do actually believe that Thor: The Dark World is the worst MCU movie that they've ever made. But as far as the character of Thor himself, I never saw him as very compelling unless he was with the Avengers. By himself, not really too much. And it always felt like Marvel thought that to make him better, you had to literally bring him down to Earth and surround him with a bunch of human characters, like Jane Foster, who is a very weak character and is sadly portrayed by a really great actress, just not portrayed greatly because, you know, she's a shitty character. And then I still like Stellan Skarsgård as Darcy. I still like him. And then Jane's friend, whatever the hell her name was, I fucking hate her. But for Thor Ragnarok, instead of making him seem like this out-of-this-world immortal human being, he's still like that, but they treat him more like he's a person, like a real human being. And this film was exactly what the character needed. He just needed a complete overhaul. This film, and Kevin Feige, the overall producer and basically the showrunner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has said that they wanted Thor Ragnarok to be, for Thor, what Captain America Winter Soldier was for Cap. Thor also needed a new sense of likability and basically fun, and that's what we got. This is a fun and entertaining movie, and it actually may be the most entertaining film in the MCU that I've seen since the original Guardians of the Galaxy film. And much of that comes from the amazing writing, brilliantly developed characters, just adrenaline pumping, kick-ass action sequences, and the dialogue. And it actually kind of feels a bit more like Guardians of the Galaxy did, and not just with the fun aspect, which I did mention earlier and I loved, but also just because of how colorful it is and just how beautifully shot the film is. Now let's focus specifically for a bit on the dialogue, because the director, or well, the dialogue and the writing, the director has actually come out in interviews and said that while the basic story and plot are the same as it was when they initially started shooting, a lot of the dialogue has been improvised, at least 80%. And that's amazing because even though you can tell it was improvised by the way that everything is structured, it still feels controlled like any other movie, and it just feels well too created to have been improvised. It just all feels natural, and the comedic timing for Ragnarok is really fast, but just perfect. This is a really funny movie, and instead of playing with the seriousness of certain scenes, they play it for more of a joke, and that may not sit well with a lot of people, but personally, I thought it worked well. This movie was a breath of fresh air for those people and fans of the MCU who are just getting tired of the Thor story arc, and they do actually change a lot up to make the film feel new and fresh. Things like the fact that Thor doesn't have his hammer anymore, as we've seen in the initial trailer because Hela destroyed it, and we actually get to see him be a god of thunder. He's not just flying around using his hammer and using his hammer to basically summon lightning. That one scene in the trailers where it's just showed him enveloped in lightning, it goes even further than that. That is just a taste of what a true God of Thunder is like. Also, I do have to make a couple of comments a bit on how certain characters are written, and within that is actually a flaw that I have with the movie, but it's only one thing. Like, first off, the very first thing, this is not a complaint. The Grand Master, as I said, played by Jeff Goldblum, is basically what society sees Jeff Goldblum as. You know, just think about any Jeff Goldblum impression that you've ever heard. He's basically that guy. And for that part, I actually don't care. I feel like that was on purpose, and I actually feel like Jeff Goldblum kind of wanted it that way. Now, here comes my issue with the film. The one issue that I actually have with this film, and while I did say earlier that I really enjoyed Cate Blanchett as Hela, I thought she was amazing, and I actually think that she's one of the better MCU villains that we've ever had. There comes times in the film where she basically becomes an expositional character. And what I mean by that is she'll be talking to somebody that's near her and basically going like, "Do you know this about me? Well, let me tell you." But you can really tell that it's not her talking to the character. It's more of the filmmakers throwing the backstory of Hela into the audience's faces, which I do kind of understand why they did it, because she does have really a lot to her backstory that really needs to be explained in a short amount of time. It's just that it was way too noticeable to me that it just felt unnatural. In the end, Thor Ragnarok, as I said, is just a fucking breath of fresh air. It's the best Thor film, and it is one of the best MCU films that has come out so far. I would even put it in my top 5. This was a fun, entertaining movie, and I'm shaking right now. I want this movie on Blu-ray. For everything that I just listed off in my little rant, I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok 4 out of 5 reels. Seriously, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, what the hell is wrong with you? Just go! Well, that'll do it for me today. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews and content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and farewell until the next video. Bye.